presentation of TNT Sports.
What began with 16 teams is now down to 8 as we crank up the conference semifinals. Last night in Salt Lake City, the Utah Jazz earned a spot, though John Stockton and Karl Malone were struggling. So Jeff Malone knocked down 25. And the beleaguered Utah bench responded. David Benoit's timely threes finally took the wind out of the Clippers' sails. On to Richfield Coliseum, where a different Boston team showed up for Game 2 with the Cavaliers. Robert Parrish turned it around, turning in a 27-point performance after scoring only 4 in the opener. The Celtics won by 6, tied the series, and headed for the Garden. Tonight, another playoff doubleheader, starting at the home of the champs, Chicago Stadium. Michael Jordan, well rested after a Miami sweep, hits the conference semis averaging a measly 45 a night. The Bulls square off with Patrick Ewing and the Knicks, who survived an emotional and rugged 5-game set with the Pistons. New York and Chicago tip it off minutes from now. And later tonight, we'll head west as the Blazers and Suns open their best of 7. Portland, with the best record in the West, ran past the Lakers in round 1. And now Phoenix comes to town, boasting of the backcourt duo of Kevin Johnson and Jeff Hornacek, both scoring over 20 a game. And the Suns hope that super sub Dan Marley can still deal on a bad wheel. It's a Cinco de Mayo double dip on TNT. All right, 2 best-of-7 series tip-off tonight, and you'll see them both here on TNT. Ernie Johnson in Atlanta. The Knicks and the Bulls tip it off shortly, and later, the Suns and Blazers in Portland. Joining me once again here in the studio, Miami Heat head coach Kevin Lockery. Look in the New York papers, Pat Riley making some noise about this series. He says, hey, Bill Cartwright can do anything he wants to Pat Ewing, but we can't touch Michael Jordan. You just got done with a Bulls series. Is Michael protected that much?
I believe in the NBA, the stars do get protected a little bit by the officials. I think I've been in it 29 years. The best players have earned it. They will get protection, particularly the players that play out on the floor. In the post, I think they allow a little bit more physical play.
That's the Bulls and the Knicks game, one of our doubleheader. It comes up in just a few minutes. As we told you last night, the Chuck Daly era in Detroit has come to an end. The Pistons head coach of the past 9 seasons stepped down today, saying basically there's nothing else he can do with the organization and it's time to move on.
This is an Irish wake, but I'm half Scotch, so you can have one drink and not too much food. And we're going to have, this is going to be fun, because I don't have one bit of remorse. I have not 1 ounce of bitterness. I can only discuss and talk about the good times that I've had here, the success, the winning. It's been sensational.
Sensational to say the least. 9 seasons, look at the record, 9 straight playoff appearances, a couple of championships, averaging almost 52 wins each year. Another bit of news tonight, there are reports out of Toledo that Ohio State All-American Jimmy Jackson will forego his senior season with the Buckeyes and make himself eligible for the NBA draft. There's a press conference tentatively scheduled for tomorrow afternoon. Jim Jackson, quite a talent. I mean, you guys make the playoffs. You miss out on a pretty good lottery year here, Coach.
Yeah, I think definitely Jim Jackson's in the top 5 in the draft, and some people think he has a possibility maybe to go up to the top 3. He could play either position at the point or a big guard. He's a great athlete and good size and plays hard every night.
Kevin Lockery here in the studio with us as we get ready for a doubleheader in the playoffs. Game 1, the Chicago Bulls and the New York Knicks, followed by Portland and Phoenix on TNT.
Along with Doug Collins, this is Bob Neal welcoming you to Chicago. The view of the beautiful skyline from a chilly Lake Michigan and inside the Madhouse on Madison Street. The New York Knicks and the Chicago Bulls. The defending world champion Bulls blew right through Miami. They had a tough time in Game 3, but won 3-0, and the Heat's out of there. The first time the Heat got into the playoffs, and the Bulls have had 5 days to rest. The New York Knicks, on the other hand, had a real old-fashioned Eastern Conference war with the Detroit Pistons and finally won in 5. Now, if that's not tough enough for the Knicks, knowing they had 5 and the Bulls are rested, look at what the Bulls have done to the Knicks. 14 straight wins, 17 straight at home. The Bulls have not lost here to the Knicks since 1987 and 4-0 in the regular season this year. But, Doug, you know that can be thrown out some because you had some similar experiences yourself when you were coaching the Bulls.
Well, let me give you an experience. In 1989, when I was coaching the Bulls, we beat Cleveland on Michael's sensational last shot. First question is, where's the emotional level team going to be? Went to New York a day later and won in overtime to break through and won that series. did the same thing at the end of the Knicks series and then beat Detroit in Game 1 in Detroit. This is the steal game. This is the game that New York wants to come in and get right now.
Now, if they do that, we have to talk about matchups. The Cartwright-Ewing matchup is interesting, and a lot of pro basketball fans know that Cartwright plays Ewing pretty tough, and of course he's the heart and soul of the New York team. But there are some other key matchups too.
Well, I think the real matchup is Xavier McDaniel and Scottie Pippen. Xavier McDaniel had a very poor regular season, played great against the Pistons in the playoffs, but look what he did against Chicago. Game 1 right on through, really only one good ball game. He needs to be a factor offensively, but really on the offensive boards. That's really where he hurt the Pistons in the last series. Oakley, speaking of Charles, must do a great job against Horace Grant, use his muscle, as well as Mason inside.
So it's the muscle of the Knicks and the speed and defense of the Chicago Bulls from the Madhouse on Madison Street. We'll be back here along with MJ right after these commercial messages. We'll join Ernie Johnson in our studios in Atlanta.
Ernie Johnson, Kevin Lockery in Atlanta, moments away from the tip at Chicago Stadium. The Bulls have beaten these guys 14 straight times, playoffs included. Does New York have a chance in this series, Coach?
I think it's going to be very difficult, Ernie, for them to beat Chicago unless they shoot a high percentage from the outside, and that's not their strength.
Michael Jordan, averaging 45 points a game, of course, carries the load for the Chicago Bulls. They're ready to take the court at Chicago Stadium. Let's go back to Bob Neal and Doug Collins in Chicago, guys.
Thank you, Ernie. At Chicago Stadium, 18,676. It's standing room only once again. And here are the Jeep Eagles starting lineups.
Well, we see the matchups early. Can McDaniel's strength overcome the speed and quickness of Scottie Pippen? The same thing can be said about Oakley. You know that Cartwright and Ewing are going to be jostling in the post. Mark Jackson, how strong will his leg be after having a little bit of a pulled thigh muscle? And Gerald Wilkins definitely has his hands full with Michael Jordan.
Wilkins there, the guy who, of course, wins that matchup. Just kidding. Pat Riley, winningest playoff coach in NBA history, had a tough one against the Detroit Pistons, but proving once again that he's getting winning ways back to New York. And there is Phil Jackson, 28-8 in the playoffs. And the Bulls 3-0 in the first round against Miami in these playoffs. Patrick Ewing, he's the man for New York.
Bob, a couple things I think to watch early. First of all, we cannot afford to get in foul trouble inside. We know that the Bulls like to go to Bill Cartwright early, probably the first couple series of play. Secondly, as Kevin Lockery said in the studio, New York does not shoot the ball well. The one thing they can do is if they bang the offensive boards and get some second and third shots, will slow the pace of this game. They cannot turn the ball over. Chicago wants to space the floor. They feel that New York is a very, very good hands-on defensive team, but if you space them, that they will break down individually.
Ed Middleton, Ed T. Rush, Ron Gerritsen are the officials for tonight's ball game, and we're underway from Chicago. Mark Jackson, the point guard, moved back into his leadership role with the Knicks under Riley this year. Into Ewing early. The bounce pass to Wilkins off the double team. It's 2-0 New York.
Well, that's what you're going to see when Patrick Ewing puts it on the floor. Michael Jordan going back to help. That will free Gerald Wilkins at the top, or whoever's on the top of the floor for the open jumper.
Horace Grant to Scottie Pippen. Big matchup here. McDaniel and Pippen. Jackson on Paxson. 5 seconds to shoot. Jordan on the fadeaway. Rebound, Patrick Ewing.
That's the type of tempo that New York wants to face. They'd like for Chicago to use a lot of the 24-second shot clock before they get a shot up at the basket.
Knicks 2-0. Ewing in and out of there. Chicago Bulls. The rebounding strength of the front line of New York is evident. 11.6 per game for Ewing, 11.0 for Oakley, 9 a game for McDaniel. All three are in the top 20 in rebounding in the playoffs. Horace Grant wide open. Rebound McDaniel.
You're not going to see many fast breaks from New York unless it's just there, the opportunity's there. They're going to bring the ball down the floor. They're going to use the clock. They'd like to keep their turnovers down, get a good shot every time down the floor, and then maybe a second or third opportunity. There's the double team. Wilkins again, wide open.
And he knocks it down. 2 for 2 from the perimeter. As you pointed out early, New York has to shoot well from the perimeter, and they're doing that at least early. And Phil Jackson gets a very early timeout here, only a minute and a half into the game. It's
well,
a 20.
I think what they're going to talk about is the double teams. Michael came all the way across the floor. Now, I don't know if he's the designated guy right now. You see Phil talking to Michael. In many instances against Ewing, you like to spin him outside. And I know when I was here in Chicago, you bring a guy down from behind him. You bother his shot from behind him. But Ewing was able to easily spot Wilkins twice. Now, here comes Michael. You're going to see he's across the floor. Here comes a double team. Now, see, Ewing is facing him. So he saw Michael coming the whole way. I don't think Phil wants him to double unless Ewing, his back is turned, because once he saw Michael coming, he saw the double team through right over the top. Wilkins with the easy shot.
21 on the shot clock for the Bulls, trailing 4-0. Opening moments, first quarter from Chicago Stadium. Cartwright gets inside, is hammered by Oakley.
That's going to be 2 shots in the ball. We already see the presence of Charles Oakley inside. So it's a flagrant foul. It's going to be 2 shots in possession. We saw this in the Detroit series. Early in the game, Charles Oakley did the same thing to Rodman. You see it right there. You know, a lot of people feel that the rule says if you're going for the ball, it's okay. Bob, it's any unnecessary foul. Anything considered unnecessary or extra rough where it's flagrant. If it's too rough, it could be flagrant and an ejection. You see Charles Oakley talking to Phil Jackson now on the sideline. You know, a lot of people felt that Oakley would not play the same way against Chicago as he did against Detroit because he used to play for this team and that these guys are his friends. Well, from the looks of that first play, I don't think that's going to be the case.
You got that right. Cartwright misses them both. He only shot 50% in the Miami series.
Bill's free throws have gone way down. He used to be around an 80%, or he is slipping.
Jordan misses. Grant with an offensive rebound. Ewing raked it away, and the Knicks on the run. McDaniel. Now Jordan on the run. Has Pippen. He's fouled and will go to the line.
See, that's what New York has to be very careful about. A transition shot. Xavier McDaniel took the jump shot. It was not a bad shot, but the difference, you've got Michael Jordan rebounding and now throwing out to Pippen on the fast break. This is what Chicago wants to do. So anytime the outside shot is taking, they're going to have 1 or maybe even 2 guys back to protect against this. You want Scottie Pippen shooting jumpers.
The Bulls' first point of this game comes 2 minutes and 4 seconds in.
I think you're going to see Chicago try to put a little pressure up the floor also. After free throws, see if Horace Grant, Bill Cartwright come up the floor. I think they feel that they can force New York into some turnovers.
I had the Chicago-Miami Game 3 down in Miami, and Miami had a 17-point first quarter lead as the Bulls came out perhaps overconfident, then came back and won that ball game.
See, Charles Oakley's going to handle the basketball. You've got Horace Grant at 6'10", who's exceptionally quick. You see a lot of this with Cleveland also, too. They like to bring Larry Nance or Hot Rod Williams up just to make teams use shot clock.
Mark Jackson with 5 seconds to shoot. 3, 2. Wilkins misses the 3. Ewing steals the offensive board.
Nice pass.
McDaniel.
They're going to call an offensive foul. This is a late call. I don't know who this is against.
Well, Scottie Pippen was pushed almost off the floor and slid right out of there.
Oakley, it's going to be on Charles Oakley. The sign go number 34. It's like the play was suspended there for a while. Here's the shot. It's missed. You go up right there. Now it looks like he has the shot there. Scotty's out. The ball goes in. Now you see the whistle. That was a late call.
Didn't see it. Grant is fouled by Patrick Ewing. So that's 2 fouls early on Charles Oakley. Ewing picks up his first foul. And here comes more muscle into the game in the form of Anthony Mason for Oakley. And a lot of folks around the country probably don't know Anthony Mason very well, but he's significant.
This substitution will not hurt New York. Mason is as big and strong as Oakley and quicker and a better offensive player. So they've got a very fine backup in his place.
Horace Grant, tough shot. He missed it. Pippen with the tip. Pippen's tipping, and it's tied at 4.
Bob, the one thing, I like that. The one thing that New York is not going to face when they faced against Detroit was the quickness to the ball and off the floor. Detroit was a strong-arm team. This is a quick team.
Grant bumped. Mason on the shot. T. Rush with the call there, and the foul is on Horace Grant. Might mention there are a lot of connections between these two teams. Phil Jackson played 11 years with the Knicks, didn't play on the 70 championship because he was hurt, played on the 73. B.J. Armstrong had his career playoff high last year against the Knicks. Cartwright, of course, played for the Knicks and came in the trade for Charles Oakley in the 88 draft, along with some draft choices. Michael Jordan, 29-point average in 91 versus New York, was his series lowest for his career. And Will Perdue has his playoff career high 16 points, 10 rebounds last year. So there are a lot of connections between the way these two teams play with each other. And of course, the people in Chicago, being a former Chicagoan myself, have never liked being called the second city.
That's right. I saw that today in the paper. Well, the last few times these teams have met in the playoffs, Chicago has definitely gotten the upper hand. 4-2 in '89 and then a sweep last year.
While I'm thinking about it, Stacey King of the Bulls went home with the flu, is not on the bench for Chicago. He has not been playing much in the first round of the playoffs anyway. Ewing rebounds the Cartwright miss. Chicago only 1 for 7 from the floor.
Now you got to watch Michael Jordan retaliate and going long. When you take the jump shot, Chicago is going to release. That time Jackson was able to stick it.
8-4 Knicks, 8:10 to go, first quarter.
Going inside against Ewing again. See, Cartwright feels very comfortable playing against him, although that shot was blocked because of all the years of practicing each other in New York.
Jordan knocks it out of bounds with 20 on the shot clock. So Ewing with 3 rebounds early and a blocked shot already, playing tough against Cartwright. And Cartwright, as you pointed out, Doug, historically plays Ewing very well.
Well, he knows where Patrick likes to catch the ball, and he bumps him, he gets him off the block, and he's very comfortable with his moves, so he disrupts his timing.
10 seconds to shoot. Mason using his strength.
See, that's too strong. I mean, he missed that shot, but he got the ball deep into the lane. He just pulled that shot.
Knicks back quickly on defense.
See, he's matched up against Scottie Pippen right now.
Pippen is left alone. Bulls are 1 for 8. Make it 1 for 9.
Well, they've not gotten any easy scores. Everything has been worked for, other than the tip in by Scottie Pippen. Everything has been a jump shot. And that's a muscle shot right there.
Rims out of there. Pippen has the run. Bulls have the numbers. 4 on 3.
There's 2. You can count that one.
Good investment. John Paxson's jump shot. Knicks by 2.
When he lets it go, it seems like every one of them is going to go in. It's like Drazen Petrovic in New Jersey now. When he shoots the ball, I feel like every one of them is going in.
Now McDaniel missed. The Knicks have missed the last 3 times down. Bulls battling back, chance to tie. McDaniel fouls Pippen on the drive, and that's where McDaniel has a problem with Pippen. Out on the floor. Timeout, Chicago. 6:51 remaining in the first quarter. You'd think this was Yankees and White Sox, 8-6 here with 6:51 instead of Knicks and Bulls, but both teams can play the defense.
Well, you can see this right here. Games holding their opponents under 100 points. New York was number 1 with 52. Chicago was 3rd with 39. And in those 39 games, they were 38-1. But on the flip side of that, look at scoring under 100 points. Chicago, 3rd in the league, only 7 times. Ironically, 3 of those against the New York Knicks. You can see where New York was 37 times. So obviously the Knicks would like to keep this score around 95 if possible. It's probably the only way they can sneak out a win in here tonight.
Horace Grant, nice give and go to Jordan.
Out of bounds.
That's a turnover, wave it off.
Michael stepped out of bounds and then had not established himself back on the floor. That was good defense by Wilkins to take away his cut, force him to go out of bounds.
Down to Ewing against Cartwright.
Ewing's waiting for all these bodies to come at him. Against Detroit, he 2, 3, 4 guys on him every time. You can see Chicago's philosophy right now, Bob. They're going to feel Patrick Ewing out. They're not going to make the commitment to come down and get him right now. Probably they will adjust as the game goes on. Ewing loves to spin right shoulder. This time he comes into the lane. The little flip shot, the touch foul, and the score, and the opportunity for the three-point play.
And Patrick Ewing already with 5 rebounds early in this ball game. New York out-rebounded Chicago 8-6. Both teams shooting under 30% early in this ball game.
See, Chicago's been off now. I mean, you can expect maybe that their shooting is going to be a little off because they've had about 7 days, 8 days really without a basketball game. For New York, it's probably just a good defense of Chicago.
6:25 to go, first quarter. Knicks by 4. Grant isn't going to miss that one. Horace Grant's first basket of the night. Michael Jordan has yet to score.
Up-court pressure. You're going to see them try to force some turnovers. Right now, New York's into a pretty good rhythm.
Ewing facing the basket. Spins to the left, and Pippen got a hand on it. 8 to shoot. On 4 to shoot, Mason missing. Rebound McDaniels. He's been an offensive rebounding machine against the Pistons.
See, what happens is Scottie Pippen went to double team, and when he did, he couldn't find Xavier McDaniel on the rebound. There's Michael Jordan.
First points of the game for Jordan. Jordan had a quiet 56.
Yeah, quiet.
Miami. Only player in the history of the game you can say quiet on 56 points. 10 seconds.
McDaniel would like to post up against Pippen. They're really slow getting into this play.
5 to shoot. Beautiful play by the X-Man. Xavier McDaniel with 4 points now.
You know what I like on that? When he took it to the other side of the basket to the opening, had he taken it up on the same side, Pippen would have blocked it from behind with those long arms.
5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Pippen throws it away. Mark Jackson to Wilkins. Stripped away by Jordan. What great hands. 19 to shoot.
See, Michael's like a goalie back there. I mean, he saves all these shots, and that should be a 3-on-1 fast break. You got Michael back there, and he stones the guy on the breakaway. That's twice he's done that tonight.
Knicks by 4. 19 seconds to shoot. Wilkins gets away from Jordan on the Ewing pick, but only for a moment.
Let's see if they go back to X-Man, make Scottie Pippen work on the defensive end. Xavier's in a pretty good rhythm right now. Good ball movement by New York. Everybody in this sequence has touched the basketball. I don't like that long jump shot by Ewing, though. I think he can get a better shot against Cartwright than that.
Way out of his range. Ewing can get pushed off the block sometimes by an aggressive defensive center.
New York's doing a good job of plugging the middle on Pippen and Jordan right now, too. They're not giving them that big looping lane inside to get to the basket.
Cartwright with 8 to shoot. Drops the jump shot. He looked at Paxson. He looked at Grant. He looked for Pippen and said, I'll take it. And Cartwright has his first basket of the night. All 5 full starters have scored. Oakley yet to score for New York.
Bob, one rule of thumb, when in doubt, shoot.
That sounds like something you'd say. Pippen with a hard foul came in to double team Ewing and hammered him with his right arm.
Bob, you know, if we get a chance later on to watch a replay on this play, I know we don't have time right now, but Patrick Ewing is putting that ball over his head when he's being double teamed. And when he does that, he's getting passes deflected. We're going to watch this as this goes along tonight to see if he does a better job. He had trouble passing out a double team against the Pistons.
Wilkins quickly to the hoop and then the block. Paxson spots up from Jordan.
He just doesn't miss.
Tied at 14.
Pat Riley wants a timeout. He feels the crowd getting into the ball game.
3:41 to go. 18,646 on their feet at Chicago Stadium. Okay, Coach Collins, you were talking about the weakness of putting the ball behind the back for Patrick Ewing.
Well, you see the double team is big. Now, we're going to roll this forward just a little bit. Now, hold it right there. See, this is the weakest position in basketball because here comes Scottie Pippen's hand. That pass is going to be deflected. Ewing has got to get that ball squared. Now, he was called for a foul, but he had trouble with that play against the Pistons. He's going to have to do a better job of getting in a position to pass that ball out of the double team.
Tied at 14 following the Pat Riley timeout. Let's see what the Knicks do offensively. They isolate Jackson to back Paxson into the paint.
I like that because Mark Jackson is about 6'3", 6'4". He has the advantage over Paxson. I always felt that Mark Jackson's toughest shot was that little floating half hook in the lane. So I like that strategy to go at John Paxson a little bit inside.
Paxson's first foul of the ball game. While we watch the free throws, I'll remind you this program's authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the National Basketball Association solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the National Basketball Association is prohibited.
Now, Bob, one thing that we've seen early in the ball game with Pat Riley, in Los Angeles, he had a veteran team He did not take as many timeouts. He thought that his veteran players could play through the excitement of the crowd. With this team, he uses more timeouts. The minute Chicago tied the game, he took a quick timeout.
Jordan gets past Wilkins, the fadeaway. Rattles home. The Bulls started 1 of 9 from the field, have now hit their last 6 field goal attempts. Fouls on Chicago, Scottie Pippen.
That's going to be, what, his second foul? He got 1 on the double team.
Correct.
So that's his second foul. That's something we have to keep our eye focused on, because Chicago cannot lose Jordan or Pippen. You can talk about any other players out on the floor, but those two guys are basically the heart and soul of everything Chicago wants to do offensively and defensively, as Cliff Levingson's getting ready to check in.
Knicks are going to make some changes too. Jackson and Wilkins go out, and in come Starks and Anthony. Greg Anthony, the rookie from UNLV, and John Starks, one of the surprises of the league, has played very, very well against Chicago and has played well in the playoffs against Detroit. Starks wears number 3. Anthony wears number 2.
Pat Riley likens John Starks to a younger Michael Cooper, except he feels like he has a better upside offensively. Feels like defensively he can start giving some of that rangy defense that Cooper used to always give. Trouble, trouble.
Jordan misses the jumper on the wing.
Well, New York did a good job getting back quickly enough to prevent a layup, force the jump shot.
Tied at 16. Starks whacks Paxson and then drains the jumper.
Very streaky offensive player. There's a technical foul, I think, on Paxson.
Well, Paxson thought Starks had put his shoulder into it and knocked him down. Ed T. Rush with the tee, and Starks will shoot it for the Knicks.
Ed T. Rush with the tee. You think his middle name is technical?
Former coach, you'd know that better than me. Did he ever call one on you?
Oh, he got a lot on me.
There you go. I think from now on it will be Ed Technical Rush.
John Paxson, pretty good defense there. Thought that John Starks had lowered his left shoulder, did not get the call, and Starks buried the open jump shot. John Starks, again now, very streaky offensive player. Hit 8 3-pointers against Chicago this year at Madison Square Garden. Tremendous athlete. He was in the slam dunk competition in Orlando this year. 3-point Knicks lead, 2:32 to go, first quarter. Bulls with 5 to shoot. 4. Rebound Ewing. His 7th. Well, they're doing a good job on the defensive boards, giving Chicago no second, third opportunities. There's Starks. Remember, he can bury these threes. Not this time. Off Chicago, New York ball. 2:08 to go in the first. Chicago loves to jump on you in the first quarter. I think with about 2:08 remaining, Pat Riley has to feel very good right now. The fact his team has a 3-point lead and the tempo of the game is good. Chicago in the 4 games against New York has averaged 31 points a game in the first quarter. They're sitting on 16 right now with 2:08 to go. B.J. Armstrong checks in. B.J. Armstrong, remember, had his career playoff high last year against these Knicks. He likes to play New York. Been some slipping on this floor, and Starks looks like he hurt his right knee. Let's hope it's a bruise. Oh, I don't know if he twisted it. Boy, oh boy, this would be a horrible loss for New York. I don't know if he twisted it or hit it on the floor. It looked like he hit a slick spot over there. You know, Pat Ewing just had fallen down over there. You know what the story here is? You and I are very familiar with this, you more than me from coaching here. The Blackhawks, the Chicago NHL team, are still in the NHL playoffs. There is ice under here and condensation forms on the floor. Oh, you see Starks go down. And also, too, remember, Ewing had just fallen there on the last offensive rebound. Let's watch it to see if it's a twist. Oh, there he goes. Ooh. Oh, that does not look good. He is walking it off and is electing to stay in the game, and let's hope that's good news. Well, that's, you know, for New York, they must have John Starks. He's a tremendous defender. He's a streaky offensive player that we talked about, and he's a guy that at least you can put out there against Michael Jordan and have some speed and quickness up against him. You cannot ask Gerald Wilkins to play 48 minutes against Michael Jordan, so we'll have to keep our eye on John Starks to see what happens the rest of the way. Speaking of the Blackhawks being in the NHL playoffs, Chicago is Sports Central. The White Sox and the Cubs are home this week. The Knicks and Bulls play here on Tuesday and Thursday. And, of course, the Blackhawks will be in this arena tomorrow night playing against the Red Wings in the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. It looks like Starks is moving pretty well. They're going to go right to Michael in the post, though. They're going to find out exactly how good that knee is.
10 to shoot for Chicago. Knicks showing tenacious defense in this first quarter. 3.
B.J. Armstrong
2.
wants to spot up for that shot. There's a block.
That's a violation. It'll be the Knicks ball.
Phil Jackson unhappy, feeling that there was a double team on Michael before, or that there was an illegal defense against Michael Jordan before the play started. I did not see it. I thought the Knicks were in pretty good position that time.
Ewing has 7 rebounds and 2 blocks early in this game to go with his only 2 points.
Well, see, the one thing Patrick Ewing do, though, he can influence the game rebounding and defense. It doesn't just have to be scoring.
Jordan fouls Starks. The Bulls have been held to 16 points in the first quarter with 1:29 remaining. Certainly a Knicks kind of pace, but I keep reminding folks of the first quarter effort against Miami that the Bulls had, and then the explosion happened.
They are a team of streaks and spurts, Bob. I think they're probably the best team since the '83 Philadelphia 76ers to put 5 minutes of defense on you and then go on to a 14-0 or a 12-2 spurt where they hit you with a 10 or 12-point run. So being close with them, you've got to be very, very careful to not let them hit you with a spurt.
Will Perdue checks in for Cartwright for the final 1:29 of the first quarter.
Now, it's going to be very interesting. Very few times have I seen Chicago play this year at this stretch of the game without Pippen or Jordan, at least one of them being on the floor. Basically, the whole second unit with Grant is on the floor right now. Let's see if they can score.
B.J. Armstrong hits the jumper. Technical foul on Phil Jackson before the jumper. Wave it away, and Starks will shoot it.
Well, I think that these referees are going to say we're not going to take anything tonight. Phil was unhappy to play down the floor before. He was talking to Eddie Rush. Eddie Rush hits him with the tee. Paxson had said something early. He got a tee. And remember, Oakley got a flagrant foul early in the game, so they're trying to keep the pressure and the intensity of this game within the rules and not let it get out of hand.
James Donaldson comes in for Patrick Ewing. Starks has hit 6 straight points off the bench for the Knicks. They lead by 6 with 1:15 to go in the quarter.
Again, let's watch this team Chicago has on the floor. No Pippen, no Jordan.
It's Hodges, Armstrong, Livingston, Perdue, and Grant.
Normally Scottie Pippen's into the second unit, and he really stabilizes him, but he has 2 fouls.
Perdue is fouled by Starks as he drives into the lane. Let's see the team foul situation. Both teams are in the penalty. Perdue will go to the free throw line.
Will has struggled there all season long. I think, what is he, a 49% free throw shooter on the year?
On the year, he's 63% in the playoffs, up some.
Now 495 on the season, 45 for 91.
It's either 1992, 69. He's actually 69% from the line. You know, when he was at Vanderbilt, he was about a 75% free throw shooter. It's interesting the change.
I don't know if it's like a pitcher in baseball. Pitchers used to be your best hitters in Little League. They get in the big league, they can't hit anything. They start focusing in on other things like pitching and not worrying about hitting. I wonder if Will has worked on so many other phases of the game that he's gotten away from his free throw shooting.
Certainly did there. 22-16 Knicks, under a minute to go. First quarter. Donaldson at 7-2.
That's no basket. It's going to be an offensive foul
on Donaldson.
Watch the right arm now. He gets back, Will back down in there, right there with a push off. He pushed Will's arm off. That's a good call. See, both teams really going to both coaches going to the benches here early.
Hodges to Perdue. He's fouled on the drive.
That's a good foul, though. If you're Donaldson, you just saw him miss 2 free throws. You don't want to give him a dunk or a layup, so you want him to earn him at the free throw line. So I think you're going to see any time that Pat Riley can buy some minutes with Donaldson against Will Perdue, he'll try to do that to keep Ewing fresh against Cartwright.
0 for 3 from the line. Perdue has played well in the playoffs. Played well against the Knicks last year. He had 16 points against Miami. Bulls are only 2 of 7 from the free throw line.
Well, you see, Will Perdue played exceptionally well in Game 1 against Miami. I'm sure Kevin Locke remembers that. I think he had like 16 points.
And 10 rebounds. Greg Anthony for Starks. 10 to shoot for the Knicks.
Bulls are scrambling. Somebody's going to get an open shot.
Perdue stole that rebound. The pass is stolen by Anthony.
Oh, he took a three. It's going to go in, but he should never have taken that shot. They should have held it. That's one of those no. Okay.
Knicks on a 9-0 run with 5 seconds to go in the quarter.
He'll make this three.
25-16, the Knicks, and a few early boos. So the expectation level in Chicago. We'll be back in a moment. Knicks lead at 25-16. We're ready to start the second quarter. Michael Jordan with only 4 points. And here are some significant statistics.
Well, I think we talked about the season series. This is a 4-game season series. Interestingly, the first quarter, the Knicks have scored about 25 a game. The Bulls 31 tonight, 25-16. So down 15 in the free throws. 8 out of 11 for New York, only 2 for 8 for Chicago.
This is the lowest first quarter point total of the season for Chicago. Perdue, this is the shot again.
So you see Michael Jordan back on the floor, though, to stabilize that second unit. With no Michael, no Scotty, that team could not score.
Livingston punches it out with 6 seconds on the shot clock. Scott Williams in for Will Perdue. Williams, the second-year center out of North Carolina. Only 5 seconds to shoot. Jordan runs down the rebound.
See, New York has done a very good job of not allowing Michael and Scotty to finish shots. Starks pulls up and hits the quick jumper, but they're getting so far in the lane, and then they're running into people, and they're having to force out the outside jump shooters. Right now, John Paxson's the only guy who's made the outside jump shots.
New York on an 11-0 run, and the Bulls have not scored in 4+ minutes. Not scored at all.
John Starks didn't finish that shot. He had it, and he was thinking about getting back before he let it go.
Jordan to Livingston, back to Jordan, and he's fouled by Starks. Vandeweghe and Ewing into the game for McDaniel and Donaldson for the Knicks. Pippen also back in. Here comes Cartwright.
That's a good call. Scottie Pippen's back in because Phil Jackson wants him working against Kiki Vandeweghe. So let's see if the Chicago tries to exploit the Pippen-Vandeweghe matchup right now, allow Scotty some freedom, maybe some screen rolls to try to take the ball to the basket against Vandeweghe.
Starks with a foul on Jordan.
See, in the Detroit series, all those fouls like that were not being called. Guys were really wrestling with each other and all. You're seeing quick fouls being made right now. Now, whether that's Michael Jordan or not, I don't know. But a lot of that contact did not go in the Detroit series. John Starks very upset as he picked up the foul.
Heard Kevin Lockery say something from the studio from his Miami series with Chicago. Said they let him bang underneath, but called him tight out on the perimeter.
I think that's a good call. Underneath, you're going to get all the kind of contact you want.
Michael wanted a foul on that jump shot. He's now 3 for 6 and has only 6 points.
See what happens out front. Everybody sees it. All 19,000 are watching the basketball out here. So all this contact you're going to see underneath, all the wrestling and pushing and shoving is a little more isolated.
8 seconds to shoot.
See, now Ewing was faced up on that double team and found the open man very easily. Chicago's going to force New York to make that shot to beat him. Wilkins hit too early. Starks has hit a couple, but I don't think for 48 minutes that shot will beat Chicago.
Knicks by 9. 9:45 to go second quarter. People in Chicago are already talking about Chicago going 4-0 against New York. All of a sudden, they have their backs to the wall early. Chicago ball.
Well, they're a little sluggish right now. Chicago is a is a confident, cocky team right now. They're the world champion. They've sort of breezed through the league all season. They breezed through the first round of the playoffs, and right now they're being a little challenged, and they're going to have to crank it up a little bit.
Scott Williams gets the loose ball foul.
You saw that coming. He'll get a delay of game here. You better get the ball to the official. Here's the replay. Now watch Scott Williams, 42. Right there's the push in the back against Mason. I think Patrick Ewing's got to get in the offense here. He really has not touched the ball much. They need to go to him, let him get the shot against Cartwright.
Ewing's only 1 for 5.
He's got good position if they'll throw him the ball.
Big drive. Big miss by Greg Anthony. Pippen on the run.
Now he can take the ball past Vandeweghe. If they'll clear that area, Scotty wants to work, so they want to get him out of there so he can take it to the basket.
Then to shoot, Cartwright. Now 6, 5. Lost the dribble. Ewing comes away with a turnover.
See, right now that New York is getting him into a half-court game. It's exactly what they want. I don't remember one breakaway layup for Chicago.
Exactly the one chance they had. The Knicks got back, and Jordan missed the jumper. Ewing 1 for 6 now. Scott Williams with the rebound. Here's a 2-on-2. It's stolen. But then out of bounds goes Greg Anthony.
Great speed by Greg Anthony. He did what you're supposed to do. A guy's in front of you, run in behind him, and if you can catch him, try to deflect that ball away. Look at this. Now, Scottie Pippen's first couple years in the league, he had a bad back and he had a very high dribble. That dribble is down now. It's very much tougher for you to try to get that ball from behind on him now.
Pippen is 1 for 4. And Chicago has scored 2 points in the last 7 minutes.
Well, the one thing that sustains them, they're an excellent defensive team, so it's only a 9-point game, so it's 4 possessions that they're still in it. Had New York been able to score, they could be up about 17, 18 points right now.
Vandeweghe, long range, rebound Jordan.
Vandeweghe's in for one reason, to shoot the ball.
Jordan has 4 rebounds early. Foul away from the ball, and it's on Greg Anthony.
See, Scottie Pippen, the last couple shots, I don't know if you've watched it, but he's pulled the string on his shot. That is not the sign of a confident shot right now. He's trying to guide the ball in the basket rather than shoot it. What Scottie wants to do is get out on the open floor, get a couple easy ones, and then that jumper starts going much easier for him. So watch him on his follow-through. He's pulling the string on it a little bit.
Jordan 3 for 7, Pippen only 1 for 4. Bullet pass into Pippen. He's fouled on the shooting arm and will go to the free throw line. And these are 2 guys who have been supplying 69 points a game for Chicago in the playoffs. 45 for Jordan.
Well, they're so explosive. I mean, we see tonight what Pippen and Jordan are shooting 4 for 11, but they're such an explosive duo because they play off each other so very well. Eye contact. When one of them's got the ball, the other one's running down the floor. They throw ahead very well to each other. They can both post, finish. So this is the best 1-2 punch in the NBA, and I'd venture to say they're the best 2 defensive players at the 2 and 3 positions in the NBA also.
They average nearly 5 steals a game here in the playoffs. At the conclusion of tonight's game, Doug and I will be selecting the Budweiser player of the game. Pippen knocks them both down.
Got to go back to Patrick Ewing. He's got to get a couple touches against Cartwright. Even if he doesn't get the shot, he'll get a shot for an open player. You got to let him get the basketball in his hands.
When do we see the Bulls go to some full court pressure? Wilkins to Ewing, over Cartwright, good call Doug, and rebound Mason.
See what happens though, you get a second shot opportunity because they got a double team, they space the floor on the penetration. That's what Mason will do. He'll give you the second shot and the finish. Oakley struggles finishing because he doesn't jump well.
Oakley's about to come back into the game. Look at this New York defense. Anthony, it's 3-on-1. He had Ewing. Instead goes to Vandeweghe. 31-20. Knicks an 11-point lead. 6:47 to go in the first half. That's the biggest lead of the game. Timeout, Chicago. Doug, we're talking about the good New York defense. You're going to explain why on this play.
All right, watch this. First of all, you've got great pressure on the basketball. He can't see the floor. This pass is being denied. This pass is being denied. Look at Jordan off the ball. The only thing they're going to give you is Cartwright coming right here on the catch. So we're going to roll it up there, and we're going to see what happens now. When Cartwright catches the ball, and now watch Anthony. Anthony's going to come right in behind it and chase away. He actually gets a deflection. And now the fast break. He sees Cartwright. Boom. Knocks it loose. Kiki Vandeweghe with a little hand there. And there's Anthony. And they finish it for the fast break. 6 fast break points for Chicago. Only 6 for New York. Only 2 for Chicago.
Pippen with the drive. Grant with the jam. 6:30 to go in the half. Bulls are back with their starting 5 on the floor.
So Scottie Pippen holding his left wrist, too. I don't know whether he got hurt on that play. We'll have to keep our eye on him, too.
Cartwright muscling Ewing. Bring him up pretty high off the block. There's the double team. 4 seconds to shoot. What a pass from McDaniel.
Well, he took advantage of the swarming Chicago defense. I thought McDaniel walked. I didn't see how he was going to get out of that double team. He found Oakley for the layup.
That's how he got out of it. Oakley with his first basket of the night. Pippen had confidence on that shot.
Well, you could see it because he wasn't standing there looking at the basket. That was in rhythm. That was an instinctive play.
There's the double team. Ewing finds McDaniel.
Nice play there by Xavier McDaniel. They're very patient. They're taking advantage. Chicago is overreacting right now. Their double teams are going with such aggressiveness that New York is making it work for them right now.
Knicks by 11, 5:22 to go in the half. Michael Jordan has only 6 points. That's on Gerald Wilkins. Team fouls. The Knicks already in the penalty, so Jordan will go to the line. Only 1 team foul has been committed by the Bulls.
Well, Bulls do not foul much. They're a very good position defensive team, or at least they're not called very much. I should say. A lot of people feel that Michael and Scottie get away with a lot of pushing, but a lot of grabbing. But we talked about tempo, all right? One thing that New York has done is they've got 5 offensive rebounds. Okay, what that does is that prevents Chicago from rebounding and running out. They've also limited their turnovers. New York has not turned the ball over tonight. They only have 3. So now you get good patient shots. You get second shot opportunities. You don't turn it over. And now you've got Chicago into a half-court game. That's what you have to do, but you have to do it for 48 minutes, not for 23 or 24.
Jordan knocks them both down. Knicks by 9, 5:17 to go in the half. And here's the full court pressure. McDaniel.
Done a good job against the press. We've seen a lot of Greg Anthony in the first half here. Mark Jackson went out early. Anthony's come in, and his quickness and speed have really hurt Chicago.
New York by 11. This Knicks defense has been impressive.
Get off him and make him shoot the jump shot. Not him.
5 seconds to shoot. Grant has it blocked by Ewing. 2 seconds to shoot. Good! Followed by Horace Grant.
Great hustle there by Horace Grant. Ewing came over with a block. Good perseverance.
A lot of bumping away from the ball with Grant and Oakley. Pippen left McDaniel alone for a moment, and he got the open shot. The ball will belong to the Knicks.
The one thing we've talked about now is the Knicks can hurt Chicago with second shots. You see here, the crashing to the boards. It's very difficult when Ewing is out on the floor for Cartwright to block him out because Ewing is quicker. When they're under the basket, you can do that, but Ewing is getting a run, and he's getting his hands on a lot of balls.
Got the mismatch now, the drive by Anthony's batted away. Chicago ball. 4:11 to go in the half. Jackson is back in for Greg Anthony, along with Doug Collins. Bob Neal with you from Chicago Stadium. And it's a bit of a surprise here. The Knicks leading 37-28. 4:09 to go in the first half. The Bulls were held to a season-low 16 points in the first quarter.
This next 4 minutes going to be vitally important for New York to keep the tempo where they have it.
Jackson throws up a brick for a 3 attempt.
I still say Patrick Ewing's got to catch the ball every other time down the floor. He's got to get the ball in his hands just so Chicago's got to double team him.
10 to shoot. Looking for Ewing.
Right there he is. Let's see if he gets the double team. Someone will be open. There's the open shot. That gives you a second shot opportunity, and I tell you why, Bob, is because they had to double team. And when you double team, you don't have a block out responsibility. That leaves a guy now to sneak in and get a second opportunity.
Loose ball foul. That's the second on Cartwright. 3:31 to go in the half. Team second foul. Knicks already in the penalty. Back to Ewing again against Cartwright. No double team. The hook pass into McDaniel. He just comes out of the big forest of trees for the power jam. McDaniel has double figures, 10 points, and Ewing passing better than against Detroit. 4 assists already.
This is a different Xavier McDaniel that played in the regular season for New York. This is the one they paid to get in the trade right here. Xavier McDaniel's got to be very careful. He does not want to get a technical foul.
That's the third foul on Charles Oakley. And Pippen will shoot the free throws. Mason comes in for Oakley, so Oakley's minutes being limited.
We ought to talk to Charles. Has been bothered by a hip pointer. He got hit in the Detroit series, and that's a very painful injury. I don't know if it's affecting Charles or not.
Saying he got hit in the Detroit series is saying I got stuck in a traffic jam at rush hour.
You're right. See, when did he not get hit in the Detroit series?
A better way. Charles Oakley, you coached him here in Chicago. He talks with you prior to every ball game.
Yeah, Charles is a good guy. He really is. All he wants to do is win. Charles will give you everything he's got every time he steps out on the floor. He gets frustrated sometimes because he has a tough time scoring because he's not a great jumper. But you want to put a guy down there in the trenches that'll rebound and bang for you. He's right up there in the top of the league with that.
Averaging 11 rebounds a game in the playoffs. 39-30 Knicks. 2:55 to go first half. The turnaround jump shot. Coach Collins, you've been talking about the Knicks going to Ewing. That's just what they've started doing now, more than they had previously.
He will free you up for a shot. He's like Michael Jordan and Pippen in that you've got to focus in on him, and when you do, he'll free somebody else up for a shot. He's really an offense within an offense.
Knicks keeping the Bulls way away from the hoop. 5 to shoot. Pippen. That was knocked out by Cartwright. Jordan alone in the corner. Oops.
Second shots. Boy, you total up those. You know, it's like, I'm going to make another comparison to baseball. How many guys, when you lead off an inning with a walk, does a guy score? and almost basketball is like offensive rebound. Very similar. So they're going to, Xavier McDaniel's having a great first half. We talked about him being the guy that was going to have to be the difference, and right now in the first half, he really is.
He has 12 points. Second high scorer for the Knicks is Starks off the bench with 8. 11-point Knicks lead, 1:43 to go first half. Jordan had nowhere to go with it. It's a 4-on-1 fast break.
Good foul by Paxson. Good foul.
New York gets a timeout with an 11-point lead. Jackson will be going to the free throw line. A minute and a half to go in the half. And try to believe this, the Bulls have scored only 32 points. 43-32, 1:35 to go in the half.
This is called building a wall. And you see right here, Michael is not going to be allowed to turn outside. So watch when he takes it to the basket. You're going to see what happens here. Boom, right there you see, here's a one, here's one, here's one, here's one. So he's looking at 4 guys. He tries to spin back. Wilkins gets a hand up in his face. Boom, and all you see is, look at this, all eyes on Michael Jordan with a hand in the face, and it's a turnover. Great defense that time by New York.
A momentary stoppage of the scoring machine, letting the air out of the ball, so to speak. Something that the Knicks definitely wanted to do, slow the game down. They've done that. Kevin Lockery, the Miami Heat coach, who did such a great job getting the Heat into the playoffs for the first time, the first expansion team to make it. They played the Bulls tough in that third game. We'll be previewing, along with Ernie Johnson, our Game 2 tonight in the doubleheader, Phoenix and Portland. And how about the Chicago bench? They have not scored a point for Chicago tonight.
And New York 17-0 bench scoring.
Minute 23 to go, first half. Wilkins all over Jordan. Pippen trying to drive on McDaniel. Tough shot.
That's all right, though. If you're in New York, if you're Pat Riley, you're saying we made him take a tough shot. We did not foul him. Make him continue to take the degree of difficulty shots, although Scottie Pippen loves those kind of shots because, again, it's an instinctive thing.
Ewing left alone. Misses the jumper. Jordan with a ball fake. Nowhere to go with it.
See Patrick Ewing standing in the lane. Anytime Pippen or Jordan get in there, Patrick Ewing standing right there.
Impressive defense. 5 to shoot. Pippen has it blocked by Ewing with 1 on the shot clock. Jordan buries the jumper. You can't play defense better.
They want to get a good possession here. It's an 8-point game. Use the clock at the last shot, or excuse me, Chicago will get the last shot.
Ewing, big bucket, 23 seconds to go. The Bulls held to 36 first half points. They score that in the first quarter many times.
Paxson coming off a double screen on the weak side. It's Mark Jackson.
Pippen from 19 with 3 seconds in the half. Well, the Knicks have done a spectacular job of defense, but interestingly enough, because they have not scored much either, they hold only an 8-point lead at the half. Ernie Johnson, Kevin Lockery will be along in just a moment.
Halfway home at Chicago Stadium, and get a load of this, folks. The Knicks taking a chunk out of the champs, 46-38 at halftime, game 1 of the Eastern Conference Semifinals. Ernie Johnson in Atlanta, along with Kevin Lockery, the head coach of the Miami Heat, with the Prudential halftime report. I tell you something, Pat Riley said, look, to heck with you guys who say we don't have a chance in this series. We're going to go to Chicago. We're going to let it all hang out, and we've seen that in the first half tonight.
Ernie, the Knicks are a cocky group of players, and they've come out tonight and just played as well as you can play defensively. Very few easy baskets for Chicago. They've really denied Michael the ball as much as possible. Held Pippen, the first play of the game. Cartwright goes to the basket. The score is 4-0. Flagrant foul on Oakley. We're going to show you how we're going to play this series. Great
job. A flagrant foul, yes, but a clear message being sent by the Knicks to the Chicago Bulls. It's an 8-point game at the half. Some off-the-court news today. We told you about it last night. It was made official today. Chuck Daly stepped down as the head coach of the Detroit Pistons after a tremendous 9-year run. Your thoughts on that?
He's just been a sensational coach in the league for so many years. And now with Detroit, 9 years with Detroit, 2 championships. It's hard for me to believe that, though, Chuck is leaving Detroit. 2 years ago, they would repeat. And now he's going to go on to the Olympic coach, and obviously, if he wants to coach in the NBA, he'll be back somewhere.
Yeah, he said today it was just kind of a situation. He's done all he could in Detroit. It's time to move on, and rest assured he will land someplace.
Definitely.
Now, our other game tonight, game 2 of our doubleheader, we're going to open up the Western Conference Semifinal with the Phoenix Suns and the Portland Trail Blazers. They played this one in Portland for the first 2. And the Phoenix Suns really haven't been in action for a while. We haven't seen them in about a week. It was last Wednesday when they clinched the series against the San Antonio Spurs. Jeff Hornacek has been a real spark plug for this team. It's about 25 points a game. He and Kevin Johnson combined to give Phoenix one of the best backcourts in basketball. And right now, Jeff Hornacek is standing by at Memorial Coliseum. Jeff, I'm going to ask you to play trainer for just a second. You guys have had a while to rest up. Dan Marley's been banged up, so has Tom Chambers. Their status for tonight?
Well, they're both ready to go. I think the rest helped us out. We had a few bangs and bruises, but our guys are ready to go. We had 6 days off, and we're anxious to get out there and play again.
Is there ever any danger of maybe being rusty? Would you like to maybe have 2 or 3 days off, but is 5 or 6 too much?
I think we can only find out tonight. Last time we had a long layoff like this was during the All-Star break. We played Portland right after that, and they beat us on our floor and broke a 17-game winning streak. So we're hoping we don't come out that way again tonight.
Jeff, just a personal question. You came into the league basically as a good defender, hard-nosed player. Now you're one of the purest shooters in the NBA. How did you develop your outside shot?
A lot of hard work, a lot of shots, and I think confidence. Throughout my first couple years in the league, I was primarily a guy to give the ball to the other guys. I was a backup point guard. I really didn't look to shoot the ball, but once we got Kevin Johnson, it made my role change. I had to become another part of the team, not a starting point guard, not a backup point guard, but maybe a shooting guard. And I put a lot of hours in. Cotton Fitzsimmons gave me a lot of confidence in just shooting the ball. And you know, whenever a coach lets you just shoot the ball and doesn't get on you unless it's a real bad shot, it makes it a lot easier to shoot the ball.
Jeff, quickly, the big picture on this series. That can be a frightening team, Portland, when they get that running game in gear. How do you slow them down?
Well, I think we have to just make sure we take care of the ball. We have to keep our turnovers to a minimum. We have to do a good job executing our offense. If we make the shots, it's harder for them to run out on us. And then all 5 guys have to concentrate on getting back. They have such great athletes. If they have any advantage at all, a 3-on-2, 4-on-3, they're going to score.
Jeff, we appreciate you taking time tonight. Good luck in Game 1 tonight.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Good luck, Jeff.
Jeff Hornacek joining us live from Portland. Now, when the Prudential Halftime Report continues, we're going to take a look at the Chicago Bulls coaching staff. In other words, the men who steer the Bulls. We'll be right back. Stadium, the Bulls hosting the Knicks in Game 1 of their Eastern Conference Semifinal best-of-7 as the Prudential Halftime Report continues. While Chicago rolled to the league's best record, 67-15, the keys were always listed as Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant. Little did you hear about Phil Jackson and his assistant coaches until now. On the sidelines, they almost resemble the inner workings of a high-performance engine, each cylinder contributing, firing in and out to ensure the smooth running of the Bulls. Chicago's coaches have experience within the ranks, much to the delight of head coach Phil Jackson.
From my standpoint, I basically have the modern history of basketball on my coaching staff.
Jackson is surrounded by longevity. Tex Winter is in his 45th year of coaching. Over 30 years ago, he wrote a book called The Triple Post Offense. Nowadays, it's required reading in Chicago.
Jordan back down the lane, right corner, Paxson. He fires, it's Yo Jimmy!
Assistant coach John Bach is in his 41st year of coaching. Formerly the head man at Golden State, Bach concentrates on defense, creating that trademark relentless Chicago D.
I think Phil doesn't get enough credit for putting together a lot of diverse people, diverse group of coaches who really free to express themselves.
Former NBA guard Jim Clemens is the junior partner of the firm, working with the guards. Their days are filled with film sessions and practice and pregame preparation. Over 100 years of experience on the table.
They have to be in shape in order to be effective.
Oh, you mean the guys that are playing?
Yeah, I'm talking about our players, the guys who are playing the minutes.
No, they need a lot of rest. I think
we argue quite a bit, and I think one of the things that gives us strength is the fact that Phil Jackson's insistence upon our expressing our opinions. He doesn't squelch it.
You know, I would be a fool if I didn't use their talents. When I have a timeout situation, John Bach has been talking to me immediately, usually about what's hurting us on the defensive end of the floor. Tex Winter's been doing a play-by-play on the bench, which gives us every sequence of offense that we run. And so by the time I get back in the huddle, I have 25 seconds or so to get something across to the team. And that's about as succinct as you can be.
We don't like what we got when we come in. We go corner series again. Bill was wide open here on the corner series.
I think, we got a great staff, and they came together as one to all sort of put their mind together to make us a lot better team as well as individual players.
Collectively, this foursome has a single goal on which to focus, creating the right game plan to bring Chicago another championship. This 100 years of coaching experience with some work to do at halftime. What do you think Phil Jackson's doing now?
Ernie, they've aged 100 years in the first half because they played extremely well defensively. They did an excellent job on the defensive end. Ewing only has 6 points, but offensively, they can't get anything going. I think they'll go to Michael Jordan on a lot of isolations, even though they don't like to play that way. In the second half, Michael will try to take the game over. I'm not sure he can do it against the Knicks.
He has 12 of the Bulls' 38 first-half points. They trail by 8. The third period just ahead. And remember, still another game to go here on TNT tonight. Playoffs continue with the Suns and Blazers Game 1 later tonight.
The New York Knicks leading the Chicago Bulls 46-38, and that is at the end of the half. not at the end of the first quarter. It is amazing that the Bulls have been held to only 38 points. Once this year they were held to 35 points, so that's not a record. But, you know, you still get a feeling, even though the Knicks are playing a great defense, that the Bulls could explode at any moment.
Well, that's because New York can't score many points either, so as a result, it puts so much pressure on their defense every time down the floor. But I want to show you a sequence here that I think sort of typifies this entire first half. First of all, in transition, this is Gerald Wilkins. He's supposed to have Michael Jordan, so you think, let's get the ball to Michael and we'll make something happen. So Michael's going to take the ball to the basket, and as we stop it right there, one of the things Chicago has done, they've lost their spacing on the floor. Michael's got no place to go with this basketball, so you see him, he throws it out. Paxson picks up the loose ball, and watch this, Pippen starts to shoot the ball. Here comes McDaniel right there. Scotty takes the ball to the basket, but hold it right there. He finds Ewing. So they're going to pump the ball back out to Cartwright. Now they're going to reset again. A little screen roll. Scottie Pippen's going to try to turn the corner, and who's there again? Patrick Ewing with a deflection. That was what you saw for 24 minutes in the first half if you were the Chicago Bulls.
Halftime statistics, both teams shooting 39%. Chicago's bench only had 4 shots. They're 0 for 4. And look at the fast break points and the turnovers.
That to me is the most significant right there, because Chicago has not been able to run and get some easy scores. But this is only 24 minutes. Let's see if New York can sustain it for 24 more, because they're going to have to win this game.
Pippen tried to get it inside, and Ewing blocked it again.
See, Patrick Ewing, that's 4 block shots on the game. 4 block shots and 2 or 3 changes. So although he's only 3 for 11 in the first half, what he's meant defensively is more than any shot he'll make during the course of this game.
And 9 rebounds. Wilkins started the game hitting a jumper.
It hit his first 2.
10 points Knicks lead, 11:23 to go third quarter. The Knicks have come in here serving notice that they're not all that flat from having played the 5 games against the Pistons.
See, I think they're sharper. The question is, are they going to have enough energy to finish the game? I think they're sharper than Chicago right now.
Pippen with the offensive rebound and the putback. Pippen is hurt. Let's see if he's all right. He gets up slowly. Looks to be okay.
When you go to his man, whoever's playing him, make Chicago take a 24-7. Looks like Scotty's got a gimpy ankle or a knee.
He definitely hurt something. Ewing on the fadeaway over Cartwright. Tip in Oakley.
See Scotty. Scotty's not running very well at all right now. I don't know whether Phil's going to get him out of the game and get a 20-second timeout, but Scotty does not look good right now. He's walking up the floor.
Definitely in pain. You can see it.
Well, he's not even putting any weight on that right foot right now.
Paxson steps up for the jumper and drains it. John Paxson is 3 for 4. Knicks by 8. Keep our eye on Pippen. Ewing facing up against Cartwright. And Bill will be called for the foul. That will be his second.
So we see where Scotty got hurt. You see Horace Grant right there throwing the New York Knicks guy out of the post. Let's see when Scotty comes down. Oh, right there, he rolls over on his right ankle.
Stepped on McDaniel's foot.
Now, Bob, let me tell you what New York has done with Ewing a little bit. They tried to do this against Detroit, and he was effective. They're posting him a little bit off the lane to use his quickness. Cartwright that time had good position, but he put his hands out on him and got the foul. If Cartwright squares him up and forces him to take a shot, every shot Ewing has taken has been a floater. It has not been anything going to the basket. Let's see if Chicago on dribble comes down and gets him.
10-point Knicks lead. 10 minutes to go, third quarter.
Looks like Scotty's rubbed off that or run off that little injury.
Got Jordan posted down there. It'll be tough to stop him on the post-up.
And look, the initial offense, it wasn't there. Now they're going to use some clock. That's a smart play. Wasn't there. Don't take a quick shot. Take your time. So they're posting him off the lane.
Long jumper from Ewing out of his range.
Yeah, that's about 3 feet further away than Patrick Ewing should be. Chicago scores here. I think you're going to see a timeout or a 20-second by Pat Riley. I think he's going to use his timeouts here to take this crowd out of the game, realizing what Chicago Stadium is like. So if Chicago scores here, let's keep our eye on Pat Riley to see if he stops it.
The Daniel called for the foul, his second. 9:19 to go in the quarter. Jordan left alone, and he missed it. Cartwright with the putback. And it is a 6-point game, and there is the Riley timeout. We talked at halftime, even though the Bulls had been held to 38 points, they trailed by only 8.
When you can't score, it puts so much pressure. Just ask Chuck Daly. You can play great defense, hold a team to 85 or 90 points, and you have tough time winning the basketball game. You see Pat Riley talking to his team right now. He's not screaming. He's doing what we're doing. He's trying to talk over this crowd.
This crowd's been handed out 18,000 placards, as if the Chicago crowd, the loudest in the NBA, needed anything to make more noise. You see those white shakers they're holding in their hands. It just increases the decibel level.
You know, knowing Pat Riley the way I know him, and he's been a friend of mine for a long time, I think what he probably told his team is, hey guys, let's not collapse right now. We played a great 24 minutes. We want this game. This is not a game that we want to play well in. We want to win this game.
There's the double team. New York ball knocked out of bounds. 13 on the shot clock.
See, the Chicago defense swarms. They get this crowd in it, and you can see them. They swarm. They start coming after you now. They start looking for turnovers and steals.
Oh, we saw it against Miami in the second half last Wednesday. There's Pippen with a block. Chicago ball. Paxson hard to the hoop. It's a 4-point game. Another quick Pat Riley timeout. 6 straight Chicago points. Well, the crowd back into this game now, as are the Bulls, trailing by 4. They have scored 6 straight points.
Out of a timeout, New York either goes screen roll with Patrick Ewing, or they try to get a shot for Xavier McDaniel coming off the screen. Let's see what they do. That's what their pattern has been against Detroit.
This time, a turnover. They didn't seem to be straight in their minds on what they're going to do. And here come the 2 quick guards, Anthony and Starks, and Anthony Mason off the bench for New York very quickly.
That was an unforced turnover there by Mark Jackson. He just got a little rattled, threw the ball away. There was still plenty of time on the clock.
Remember, it was 17-0 New York when they went to the bench in the first half. Pippen, big left-handed hook. It is a 2-point game.
That was a beautiful shot. Going left, off the glass, over the outstretched arms of Patrick Ewing. Got to go to McDaniel or Ewing. Those are your 2 scorers. You got to get them the ball. Double dribble. Hopefully they didn't see it.
Exactly. Big jam by Ewing, who took it to the rack. The first time he took it to the rack hard tonight, he's only 4 of 14.
Well, everything's been a jump shot with him. That time he did one thing. He took it right to the basket to get the score.
Jordan takes it right to the basket. Almost got that too.
I don't think that's going to be a 2-shot foul, though. I think that's going to be called before he got there.
New York personal foul on 21, Gerald Wilkins.
Oh, nice play by Patrick Ewing. Crossover, beautiful move, and Horace Grant can do nothing but get out of the way of that.
Starks, Mason, and Greg Anthony into the game now for the Knicks.
This is a real critical time for New York right now. Chicago is starting to feel it. The crowd is in it. Michael and Scotty are starting to get lathered up a little bit. You have got to do a good job right now with your defense.
Paxson off that screen. He's 4 out of 5. It's a 2-point game.
Gotta love John Paxson. Gotta love him. The way he shoots the basketball, such an important part of this team.
McDaniel got inside of Jordan and got the lay-in, and it's Knicks by 4.
Well-executed play. Xavier McDaniel off the back screen. You got the mismatch with Michael Jordan. Jordan's setting up John Starks right now for an alley-oop. You're going to see it before this game's over. He's going to get an alley-oop from Pippen for a dunk.
Speaking of Pippen, hard to the hoop to Paxson. He's open again. Mason with a rebound.
Now, the reason he missed that shot because Scotty threw the pass at his ankles, and John is a rhythm shooter, so he did not catch that ball in rhythm. That's a walk.
Nice move, but the travel on McDaniel. Wave off the basket. The Bulls down 4. 5th New York turnover tonight. That's not many. Jordan posted against Starks.
This is where he's tough in the post right here. You don't know what to do if you're going to double team him. He fades and shoots the jump shot. You double team him and he passes. I always felt like that when I needed a basket when I was coaching in Chicago. I loved to post up Michael because he's either going to get a foul or get a good shot. Well, you can see the defense right now picking up.
8 seconds to shoot for the Knicks. 5. Anthony from long range drains it for 3. The rookie from UNLV.
Well, he's played very well tonight. He played well in the Game 4 and Game 5 after Mark Jackson hurt his leg.
Ed Middleton with the call. That's on Patrick Ewing. 3 team fouls, by the way, on the Knicks. 1 only against the Bull, and that was the 2nd personal on Patrick Ewing. Knicks by 5. Jordan from 18. Oh, he's heating up. Look out. That's 18 points for Jordan. Held to only 4 in the first quarter. He was held to 2 at Miami on Wednesday night and ended up with 56.
I told you he goes from 18 to 33 faster than a sports car.
Anthony, tough drive to the left hand, and you pointed out how well he had played. Knicks bench, one of their biggest areas of improvement this year. Grant trying to post against Mason, who is so very strong down there. Horace Grant having trouble with him. Pippen, 360 spin move to Cartwright. Knicks by 3. Anthony had Xavier McDaniel, couldn't get him the ball. Showing great patience for a rookie.
Yes, he is. He's made some pretty good decisions. That's not a good one, though.
No kidding. Jordan with a block. Bulls with the ball. Starks and Jordan into a sumo wrestling match down there on the post. Now Jordan has him isolated. 5 to shoot.
Spin and back and baseline.
Saw that tongue come out, and Jordan has 20. It's a 1-point Knicks lead.
See, in the post, he's impossible to defend because he jumps so high and he fades away from him. You can't block his shot. You almost have to send a guy from behind him to try to block his shot from behind.
Daniel steps up, 12-footer. Ewing rebound and put back. Big play by Pat Ewing.
Well, he got away with a little 2 hands in the back, but that's a big play because New York still has not been able to take the lead. Still a 3-point lead by New York.
Chicago has not led in the entire game.
Right, that's what I meant. Chicago has not been able to take a lead. There's Michael with a frustration foul.
Jordan has 2. You know, the Bulls have fouled out of, been disqualified only 3 times all year. Can you imagine that?
Detroit was fouled out only 3 times also. Isaiah twice, and I think Sally once, so they really were lowest in the league.
Starks. Jordan didn't get there in time, but Starks missed it. He'll get another chance. Missed it again. That was for 3. Paxson. Knicks by 1.
See, Paxson is so valuable because when Pippen and Jordan penetrate, the whole defense collapses, and John always works to an area where they can find him. And when you get him that shot in rhythm, he's going to knock down about 75% of the open shots. The only one he's missed is when the pass was at his ankle.
7 to shoot. Nice spin move by Xavier McDaniel, and he has 16. Knicks now hanging in here with Chicago. They led by 8 at the half. The Bulls have pulled to within 1, trail by 3, 2:40 to go in the 3rd quarter. Pippen wanted to foul there after he got Xavier McDaniel airborne, and he commits a frustration foul. Scottie Pippen now has 3 personal.
His 3rd, the team's 3rd.
Knicks have led all the way. They lead now by 3. 2:31 to go in the third quarter. Let's take a look at the GMC Truck scoreboard. Updated you on the NBA playoffs and the East Semifinals. Boston got one at Cleveland to tie that series at 1 apiece.
And how about Robert Parrish? I know he's resting his 38-year-old legs listening to us tonight. He's got 3 days off. Chief, you were awesome the other night.
You bet. And Utah shut out the Clippers. Clippers led a lot of the way in that game, and Jerry Sloan's crews got out of there alive. And the Suns and Blazers coming up next.
Well, I want to tell you what, you got Seattle and Utah coming up, and you're going to have David Benoit versus Benoit Benjamin. So it's going to be Benoit, Benjamin, Benoit.
What? How about Benoit Benoit? 3-point Knicks lead. Ewing alone. Drains it over Cartwright. Had time to set up as Bill Cartwright couldn't get there. And Patrick Ewing now has 14 points to go with his 13 rebounds. Tippett hard into the paint. Had to get rid of the ball because there were 3 players on it. Who got the block?
Ewing got a piece of it. That's 5 for him tonight.
Anthony for 13.
Boy, his quickness in the open court tonight has really hurt Chicago.
Just like that, the Knicks back up by 7. They led by 8 at the half. Minute 39 to go in the third quarter. Fans starting to get jittery here. It's been since 1987
when it breaks
the
down.
Knicks have won here at the stadium.
When it breaks down, go to screen roll and give Paxson a jump shot.
Well, they did, and he missed. Chicago ball.
So what has happened? New York went to their bench early. We talked about it, 17-0 in the first half. When they struggled tonight, they came right back in with Greg Anthony, Anthony Mason, and Starks. So their bench has played very well. Chicago now is substituting. Hodges is in, Armstrong is in. They're going to have to start going to their bench. This next 3-4 minutes are going to be vitally important for Chicago. Hodges, though, can shoot cold coming off the bench. They're going to have to not let him get threes.
The turnover as he tried to get it to Scottie Pippen, but first the whistle, so it won't be a turnover. They were holding Pippen. That's why he didn't make the catch.
When I talked to Pat Riley before the game, one of the things he said was that Hodges was very effective with us during the season. You see the push in the back. They do not want to let Hodges get freed up for a 3-pointer.
It's 3 on McDaniel. Right against Ewing. Pippen's jump hook doesn't go. Gets his own offensive board and takes it right back. Not this time either. Cartwright stripped away, and it's New York ball. Ed Middleton with the ball.
Boy, Cartwright went up strong for the rebound, but you know what? He brought it down as he tried to shoot the shot. When he did, Mason stripped it off his leg. Boy, Greg Anthony's talking a lot of trash out there to B.J. Armstrong right now. He's having some fun. His team is winning, but he's got to be very careful. It's a 7-game series.
10 to shoot. Ewing heating up now. Patrick has 16. Michael Jordan got on fire for a while. Got up to 20.
Now, when Ewing got on track is when he got the dunk. He stopped shooting the fadeaways. He's gotten squared up now, and he's shooting better shots.
Since then, he's hit his last 4. Pippen having trouble penetrating, which is major part of his game, so he'll pull up. 20 points for Pippen.
They want to get the last shot of the quarter, and if they do, they've taken all this energy that Chicago's thrown at them and either lost only 1 point or picked up a point. So this is a nice, important possession for New York. They don't want it to, it's too quick, though.
Mason did a nice job of driving to the hoop, drawing the defender, and kicking it out to Ewing.
That's the difference in what he brings as opposed to Oakley. Now, Pippen's going to penetrate. Again, they do not want to leave Hodges.
New York on an 8-2 run. B.J. Armstrong has it partially blocked by Mason. And the Knicks lead it 73-64 by 9 going into the fourth quarter. Beautiful downtown Chicago. They're stunned here at the stadium right now. Bulls down by 9 going into the fourth quarter.
Well, New York maintained their composure. Pat Riley took a couple timeouts. Bulls got to within 1, never could get the lead. Ewing got a dunk, and then he got 3 square-up jump shots where he got a good look at it. He was not fading away. The bench has really been the story. Now, I don't want to bring back anything. I know Kevin Lockery is back listening, but against Miami, Jordan and Pippen combined for 69 points a game. They scored 207 of the 352 points, which is 59% of the Bulls' offense. Tonight, They have 63% of the offense. The rest of the team has only 24 points. So we'll have to wait to see what happens. Horace Grant 6, Cartwright 6. Paxson does have 12. The bench has not scored.
And Chicago only 6 of 9 after trailing going into the fourth quarter. Ewing leaning in. Good play by Scott Williams.
Now, Scott Williams is in the game. He's a young, aggressive player. He'll get out and run on the break. He's quicker, and he'll bang. So let's watch that matchup. He's done a good job in the season here for the Bulls off the bench.
Bulls bench has not scored in the entire game. Still hasn't. Starks running, has McDaniel out there. Mason to follow. Starks all the way. It's an 11-point Knicks lead. Doug Collins at the top of the game. You talked about Pat Riley saying he told his team, this is a game we can steal if we can maintain our intensity.
Well, the one thing I think the one thing you have to be very careful about in a series is sometimes you go into a series, you think, well, that first game, we'll spar with them. We'll see what we can do. We'll make our adjustments and try to get maybe the next one. Well, Pat Riley talked to me that he did not want this to be a sparring contest. He wanted to come out. He wanted to get the game tonight. That would be the gist of his whole message to his team. Now, there's still a long way to go, but they're plus 11 right now and playing very well defensively.
And surprising, I'm sure, about everybody who's dialing in. The Bulls have never led in this game. Jordan gets it to Williams. It's blocked by Ewing. That's his 6th block. Grant will have a three-point opportunity.
Horace has 4 field goals in the game, and 2 of them have been off block shots that he's recovered and got in the lane. Now, one thing New York has to be very careful about, Chicago has a very small lineup on the floor. Michael Jordan is playing at the small forward. Here's the shot block again. It's going to go to Horace Grant, and he's going to beat the shot clock. But New York's got to be very careful right now, not turning the basketball over. Chicago, we've talked about as being a team of spurts. Right now, they'd be very, very careful, get a good shot every time down the floor.
Patrick Ewing came up with 12 points in that third quarter to keep the Knicks lead up there, and now they lead it by 8 with 10:42 to go in the game. Ewing hard to the hoop that time.
Chicago's not double teaming him. They're allowing him single coverage. We'll see if Phil changes that. If they're going to go to him late in the game, I do not think there's anybody individually that can stop Patrick Ewing down there. They're going to have to get the ball out of his hand.
Ewing has 20 points. Scott Williams scores from the big line. The first points of the Chicago bench of this ball game come with 10:15 to go in the fourth quarter.
And if we'd have taken a lottery, I guarantee you no one would have chosen that they would have been by Scott Williams. See, Ewing's feeling it, so he'll make that little open shot there. He's feeling it. No, he's stepping off the lane. Again, that one dunk got him going.
Knicks by 10. Posting up Scott Williams. Wilkins doing a great job defending Jordan without the ball. Ewing called for the foul. Good job by Williams there.
See, I like Scott Williams. He's a young player with a strong body. He's had shoulder problems. He would have been drafted higher out of North Carolina, and he had a lot of injury problems. He was not drafted. Chicago jumped all over him as a free agent. And I think he's going to be a young player that's going to have a very bright future with Chicago.
Only Chicago's second and third free throws in this entire second half. And we showed you a graphic early in this game, the difference in the numbers of free throws that the Bulls have shot against the opposition. It's incredible, the difference. And I know another thing Kevin Lockley said in that Miami series, in the third game that the Heat played the Bulls very well down in Miami, said we've got to get our team to the free throw line and keep the Bulls off the line. That's one of the reasons that game was close.
And also they made like 21 three-point shots in that series too. Here's the double team by Pippen. They have to be very careful here.
You got that right. There's the turnover. Jordan.
What you got to be very careful with, the pressure defense. New York's got 3 guards on the floor. They've got to take care of the basketball.
Johnny Bach calls it unleashing the Dobermans.
Well, the speed and quickness Chicago has is really second to none in the NBA.
I asked Scottie Pippen if that was an insult to him. He says, heck no. He says, we like the idea. We're all over you. We will bite your leg. Chicago ball.
John Starks has to be very careful. He's a young man that'll take some quick shots. Pat Riley does not mind him shooting the three, but I'm not sure he wants him shooting that off that high screen roll. Patrick Ewing has hit about 5 or 6 straight shots. He wanted the ball in his hands, and Stark launched the three.
Knicks were up by 11. Now they're up by 7. 9 minutes to go in the game.
You see a score here, you're going to see another Pat Riley timeout.
Bulls have the floor spread. Now into the offense.
Watch Michael on the backdoor cut.
5, 4, 3, 2. Armstrong at the buzzer. Count it. Timeout, Pat Riley.
Timeout, New York.
Big hoop from Armstrong. Time for Dutch Boy in the paint. Points in the paint, New York with 30, Chicago 16. Ewing, of course, contributing already 20 of those points. And 6 block shots. Pippen getting a little work on that ankle. We saw him turn it earlier in the ballgame when he stepped on Xavier McDaniel's foot. How about this? The Bulls bench scored the last 7 Chicago points after scoring no points in the first 37 minutes of the game.
What do you think about it? Hodges got a layup. Scotty Williams got a little jump shot. And B.J. Armstrong with a buzzer-beating shot there at the shot clock went off. So, again, very important right here. New York's got to take care of the basketball. Chicago feeds off this crowd and off turnovers for easy scores. Patrick Ewing resting right now, taking a little bit, so we'll have to see what he's doing now. What the Knicks will do with him on the bench.
Got McDaniel posted up against Grant. Tough shot, turn around. Grant bothered that shot. Big play by Scott Williams.
I think you're going to see him right back in the game. One possession, and then Ewing's going to come right back in the game.
Oakley trying to defend Scott Williams. Now they're putting Grant down to the post. Jordan looking for the screen. 8 seconds to shoot. Outstanding Knicks defense.
Again, Michael Jordan in the post. It's a nightmare.
3 seconds to shoot. Oakley pulls down the defensive rebound. Knicks by 5.
So motion game. Starks and McDaniel the scores. Maybe Gerald Wilkins taking the ball to the basket, although he's got Michael Jordan playing him right now.
7 to shoot. Starks goes for the 3.
So he takes those quick shots.
B.J. Armstrong pulls up. He doesn't get it either. Starks the rebound.
I think you're going to see Paxson back in the game here pretty quickly, too. B.J. with a quick shot. I don't think Phil Jackson liked that one.
Knicks by 5, 7:20 to go in the ballgame. Coming up after this one, Phoenix at Portland. Ron Poole and Goose Gibbons have it for you. Wilkins left alone from 18.
Well executed. They just couldn't make the shot. Again, the weakness of New York is their perimeter game. And all this is going on now. Patrick Ewing is sitting and watching.
Jordan posted against Starks. The double clutch. Jordan goes to the line. Ewing back into the game.
He sat for 3 possessions there. One that they had the ball, then Pat Riley tried to get him back in the ball game. They had the ball 3 times before he could get back into the game. Again, Michael Jordan in the post. 14 fouls now in New York, so they'll be in the penalty for the rest of the way. We'll have to keep our eye on the free throw shooting.
6:54 to go in this ball game. Bob Neal, Doug Collins with you. It's been a beauty. Chicago Stadium, 18,000 plus. Cartwright back into the game. The Bulls have never led. The Knicks have led by as many as 12 points. Michael Jordan has 20.
The importance of this free throw is also to give Chicago a chance to press. If Michael makes this, I think you're going to see the pressure come up the floor.
Jordan's been to the line only 4 times. We might expect to see him going to the line more this next 7 minutes.
Absolutely. Now you got Anthony in the ball game also, too, instead of Mark Jackson. Anthony played well. Let's see if he can take them to the finish.
New York, some real quickness at the point. 10 seconds to shoot.
Oh, boy. See, Ewing did not touch the ball again.
B.J. Armstrong with the ball fake, and he drains it through, and it is a 1-point Knicks lead. Chicago on a 9-0 run.
Well, Patrick Ewing just yelled at Greg Anthony, "Get me the basketball." Anthony that time dribbled it, ended up taking the shot. Ewing wants the ball.
Mark Wright saying no thank you. Look at that battle going on. Ewing pushed away from the block. There's the double.
You knew they were going to change their defense. They're going to start doubling Ewing.
Jordan with a rebound. And he's fouled.
Now see, that's a bad foul by Ewing because now they're going to shoot 2 free throws. That's his 4th foul. That's frustration. Chicago waited to bring the double team to late. So now they're going to force New York to make outside shots. Good block out. Michael Jordan with a great rebound. And instead of getting back defensively, Ewing gets his hand in there. He and Oakley, and Ewing is called with the foul. So Chicago, if Michael makes these 2 free throws, will take their first lead of the game.
We're talking about Jordan to the free throw. He's been averaging 45 points a game in the 3 games against Miami. Had 56 in game 3, distorting that average a bit. Well, he just barely got that one to fall. But that's close enough. This game is tied for the first time since it was tied at 16-16.
Chicago has their starters back on the floor. Paxson has just come in for B.J. Armstrong. New York goes with Starks, Jackson in for Anthony, Ewing, McDaniel, and Mason. So they have 2 of their bench players. Starks, a better defender. Mason, a little more speed and quickness than Oakley.
The Bulls lead for the first time. With 5:53 to go, Chicago has reeled off 11 straight points.
Who is going to have the composure for New York to run their offense? This is where Mark Jackson has to be their lead guard and make sure that they run their offense under the pressure of Chicago's defense. See Pippen laying back in the post, will not allow the pass to go inside.
3 to shoot, 2, 1. That's a violation. Chicago ball.
A team of spurts defensively. Chicago will do that to you. They were down 11. They are now up 1. See, it's going to be tough for New York defensively here because every foul is 2 free throws. This is why you've got to stay out of the penalty. Because you know Michael Jordan is going to try to get contact and get to the line.
Like right now. The building is alive. That's why they call it the Madhouse on Madison Street. New York with 6 straight scoreless possessions, and now the foul will be called on Michael Jordan.
That's their first team foul. See, so they're swarming like crazy right now. They can gamble. They can go for steals. They've got 3 more of those to waste in the next 2 minutes and 50 seconds before you go into the penalty.
Pat Riley gets another timeout. The Bulls lead by 3. Well, now the Bulls have turned up the defense, and New York missed their last 5.
Well, they've shot 3 for 10 in the 4th quarter. They have 3 turnovers. So right now, when you look at this, 3 points or less, the Bulls 7 and 8 on the season. 10 points or more, 44 and 4, and you can feel the Bulls surging. Michael Jordan knows they're in the penalty. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take it to the basket. Somebody's going to foul me, or I'm going to be a contortionist. I'm going to jump sideways, kiss it off the glass, and get the score.
Knicks had led 79-74, you might remember. They now trail 82-79. They haven't scored in about 5 minutes.
See what's going to happen, too, when Ewing touches the ball. They're going to make a strong double team on him. They're going to get the ball out of his hands.
8 to shoot. McDaniel, powerful move. Pippen with a block. 5 to shoot, and now Chicago foul. Daniel down across court right.
Defense wins championships, and Chicago has played a very sluggish game for 3 quarters. Give New York a lot of credit. They've executed, they've done well, but as Chicago has cranked up their defense, New York has not been able to get a good shot. They're now 3 for 11 in this quarter with 3 turnovers. So Chicago's defense taking over here at home behind this big crowd.
Looking for Ewing against Cartwright.
That's the first good possession they've had. They got in the ball before the double team could get there. Excellent position. Great pass.
Bulls by 1.
Be aware of Michael. Now, I told you he's setting up Starks for the backdoor play, too, so that's going to come before this night's over.
10 to shoot. 8. 5. Tough turnaround jumper, rims out of there. Starks can give the Knicks the lead once again with 3:50 to go.
Got to get it into Patrick Ewing again. Throw the ball to your big guy. This is the guy that's brought you this far. Make sure he gets the ball in his hands. If they double and they throw it out, then you can take the three, but get a good shot.
7 seconds to shoot. Cartwright all over Ewing. There's Ewing, but he's 18 feet away. Drains it anyway.
You got to get the ball to your big guy. He's hit about 7 shots in a row. You got to get him the ball.
Ewing, 20 points this half. He has 26 for the game, and the Knicks have regained the lead.
New York leads 83-82. Let's talk about a great post play by Patrick Ewing now. You're going to see the rub cut by McDaniel to bump off Scottie Pippen. Going to get a little help defensively here from Bill Cartwright. Right there, he's going to help just enough. All right, so in the counteraction, you now have a great passing lane, and the defense is out of the play. You can't get the double team. Look at the post position now, and Ewing can go quickly without the double team. Excellent play and the score by Patrick Ewing. Well-executed play.
Ewing hit the last 8 New York points, 14 of their last 18. Bulls down 1, 3:12 to go. Michael Jordan, classic spin moves and fadeaway jumper. Jordan has 28.
See if they go back into Ewing. Now they like to run screen roll behind the bounce backs to Ewing on that play. Jackson didn't make it that time.
Bulls by 1. What a game we've seen here in Chicago Stadium tonight.
Remember, Chicago only 2 team fouls.
The foul before the shot attempt as Starks took it on the drive with only 3 seconds on the shot clock. Jordan's 4th personal. And the 3rd team foul for the Bulls. Knicks in the penalty already. Starks a 71% free throw shooter. It's tied at 84.
Hey, keep your eye on John Paxson in this situation because they're going to try to make a little commitment here to get the ball out of Michael's hands. And Paxson is a guy who's been spotting up all night. So Mark Jackson, if he gives help, be aware of John Paxson. He's made a lot of big shots in his career.
Knicks have not won in Chicago Stadium since 1987. They lead by 1. Jordan, what a move inside.
That's ridiculous. That's so good. That's ridiculous.
30 points.
I hope Chicago knows what they get to see every night. This guy's phenomenal.
Look at Ewing and Cartwright down there. No whistle. Ron Garrison said play on. Ewing drains it. Knicks by 1. 2 minutes to go in this game, and the Bulls have a foul to give.
This is big time. 2 big-time superstars playing right now. They're hitting all the big shots.
Ewing has hit his last 5 shots, 10 to shoot.
See, the tough time is you got to play Michael Jordan without fouling him. If you do, there's Paxson. What I'm telling you right there.
Out of there, rebound Mason. The Knicks by 1 with 1:36 to go. This Chicago Stadium crowd on the edge of their seat.
Better get the ball across. You've only got a second. Whoa.
Back and across and back, and Middleton turns it over to the Bulls.
14 seconds on the shot clock. It was a 10-second count. Bob, you've got to get ball, and everything in possession. He did not get it across.
He had himself and not the ball.
Absolutely.
That's what's being explained to him right now. Jackson was across the line, dribbling the ball in the backcourt. It belongs to Chicago.
Take a look at the violation now. Mark Jackson's going to bring the ball down the court. Initially, Michael Jordan's playing. He was going to force him to use some clock. Mark Jackson is going to bring it up. Now, when the shot clock gets to 14, it's a 10-second violation. Here comes Paxson, a little jump switch. There's about 2 seconds to go now on the clock. We're going to roll it forward. And right there, Paxson sees 14 on the shot clock. And the ball is still in the backcourt. That's where the violation occurred.
Middleton explaining it to him right now. He just said, you can read the lips of Ed Middleton. He said 14 on the clock.
See, that's why NBA officials don't count. That there's no clock. I mean, the clock does it all. At 14, if you're in the backcourt, it's a violation. So you don't have to do all the counting that college officials do. There's no closely guarded situation. Michael Jordan has the Bulls' last 8 points, Ewing 10 of the last 12 for New York.
Knicks by 1, 1:26 to go in the game. The Bulls had a foul to give. Knicks in the foul.
When in doubt, go screen roll.
Jordan gives it up to Cartwright, back to Jordan. Ewing with the block. They're going to call the foul.
See, that's 2 shots. See, that's the problem with being in the penalty right now, because now Michael will shoot 2. So you try to do everything in your power to corral him, and any contact now is going to be 2 free throws.
Personal foul 3, John Starks.
John Starks, 5th foul. Minute 13 to go in the game. Knicks lead it by 1. It was a huge turnover when the Bulls forced the violation. Jordan hasn't missed from the line tonight. Till then, Chicago 7 of 9 from the line. The Knicks have shot only 2 free throws, and we're tied at 87.
Now be aware, Mark Jackson likes to throw a behind the bounce, a back bounce pass to Ewing if they run screen rolls. So keep that in mind the last minute of the game here.
Starks for 3. Ewing and McDaniel went for the rebound. Bulls foul.
That's all right. That's only 4, so they've still got sideline out of bounds. It'll be a new shot clock.
Tied at 87, 48 seconds remaining. The next time the Bulls foul, the Knicks will go to the line.
Big offensive rebound by Xavier McDaniel. He's been quiet here in the second half.
Cartwright yanks Ewing and puts him down inside the paint. Ewing has to come all the way out. The jumper in the lane, and it's a 2-point. Knicks lead with 33.8.
A little surprising that Phil Jackson has not chosen to go double team Ewing. He allowed Ewing to come all the way in the lane, and Ewing has the hot hand.
He's hit his last 6.
Surprised he's not making him give the ball up. Now, the one thing you don't want to do if you're New York is you don't want to give up a 3-point play going to the basket.
Jordan's trying to get that, kicks it out to Pippen from long range. Rebound, Ewing. He's fouled. And the Knicks lead it by 2. They are stunned here at Chicago Stadium.
His third penalty.
See, still a lot of time, though, Bob. The one thing, you know, even if Patrick Ewing makes both of these free throws, the one thing normally you do if you're a coach is you give a team a strong move going to the basket. You give up a quick 2. So if he makes 2, it puts the pressure on Chicago to go for a quick 2 and not a 3.
30 points, 15 rebounds, 6 blocks, 5 assists.
Now this is the big one right here. That gives them no worse than a tie on a 3-point shot. This one really puts the pressure on Chicago.
Ewing 3 out of 4 tonight. 4 out of 5. It is a 4-point Knicks lead with 13.4 seconds remaining in this game.
Bob, this is the play that Ewing actually took the lead. And here's what I'm a little surprised about. Michael Jordan is right here in this position right here. And normally, this is such a great trapping area. All right? As Starks goes away, I'm surprised Michael didn't trap this, but he doesn't. He starts and he leaves. And now this gives Ewing the lane. Boom. And Pippen right here can't get there soon enough. So the big fella squeezes through there and gets the score. Chicago has chosen not to double Patrick Ewing here in the 4th quarter, and he's made them pay for it at this point in time. He's hit, what, 14 of their last 16 points?
14 of the last 18, but the point is the same. Pippen will inbound right in front of our bench here with 13:4 to go. Knicks by 4.
Now, Pippen is the guy who usually comes and gets us. They throw it into Grant, they throw it back to Pippen, and he makes a big looping turn and takes it to the basket.
Jordan shoots the air ball. Pippen got it. Knowing Jordan, it may have been a pass.
Got to get the ball in bounds.
Foul on Chicago, 4.1 seconds. It's a 2-point game. Horace Grant commits the foul. Jackson will go to the line.
It's the same position Mark Jackson was in Game 3 in overtime against Detroit. They were up 1 at the time. He steps up there and makes 2 to put them up 3. They're now up 2. If he can get 2 free throws here right now, he's got a chance to ice this game for the New York Knicks.
Jackson 3 for 4 from the line. Big free throw. 3-point Knicks lead. This one is the big one.
Yeah, because what it does, it takes the pressure off of even if a guy shoots a 3, you don't have to worry about taking a foul. So this is the money ball right here.
Ewing gets the offensive board. He is fouled with 1.1, and the Knicks have the 3-point lead.
Well, Chicago did not check off on the rebound. Ewing went over the top and tipped it to himself.
Ewing's 16th rebound of this game. He has 30 points to go with his 6 blocks, 5 assists, and now steps to the line.
Well, he needs to make 1 before this game is over. This game is not over yet. It is now.
It is now. So Ewing has, correction, 33 points. Coming up right after this one, Ron Thule and Goose Gibbons will have the Suns at the Blazers from Portland.
Bob, let me say something about this game tonight. You got to give New York all kinds of credit. Remember we talked about it being the steal game, the game you come in off emotion. Let me tell you something about Chicago. Chicago had breezed through this season, 67-15, really no adversity, really no injuries. They beat Miami 3-0. They've had 7 days off. All they've read about the last week is they're going to beat New York 4 straight. This sends a wake-up call that for them to repeat, it's going to be harder. People are not going to give them anything. They're going to have to work to earn it. New York is going to make them play tough.
The Bulls have been held to only 89 points in this ballgame. 94-89. The last time the Knicks won here at the Madhouse on Madison was March 6, 1987. They won that game by only 1 point.
Well, let me give you something. That game, though, I was coaching. Juwan Oldham goaltended that last shot. We won that game. The record book is wrong there.
Now that's in-depth reporting. Thank you very much. Scratch that off. So it was even prior to that.
That's right. I mean, that's a wrong score.
Well, the Bulls have to get 5 quick points here in 1.1 seconds. I think you made the right comment that it's a 3-point shot by Armstrong. It doesn't go. The Knicks with a 5-point win. 94-89. Knicks over the Bulls. Jordan held to 4 points in the first quarter. The Bulls 38 points in the first half. And we talked at the beginning of the ball game about Patrick Ewing being the man for the New York Knicks, but Doug Collins pointed out that a man who would have to come up big in the matchup tonight would be Xavier McDaniel, the X-Man. He rebounded offensively very well in the series against Detroit and came in here particularly early in the ball game and did an outstanding job of rebounding. Also an excellent job defensing Scottie Pippen tonight. And the New York Knicks have taken a 1-0 lead. First question for you, sincerely, are you surprised you got this game at Chicago Stadium?
Well, not really. We knew what we had to do, and that was get on the board, play tough defense, limit Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan with some of the things they can do. We didn't want Michael Jordan to come in and get 45, 50 points, Scottie Pippen get 30. You know, what we want to do, at least keep them in the 30s and then shut down everybody else. Not let Hodges and a lot of the other role players get a lot of points.
Now, it's easy to say that in terms of preparing for the game. How did you execute it?
Well, we're a defensive-minded team, and I mean, all year it's been the defense for us. And tonight, it haven't been the offense. I mean, we got into them, and we played a lot of tough defense, got a hand up, and anytime you get a hand up in guys' face, they tend to shoot less.
X, a couple questions here. Okay, first of all, knowing Pat Riley the way I do, in the last time out, did he tell you guys when you leave this floor not to act like you've just run the World Championship, that you got more work to do? Because I saw a different New York team leave. Not a lot of celebrating, but one that realizes a whole lot more work to be done.
Well, we know it's 3 more games in order to clinch it. So it's a long series, and so we didn't want to celebrate because sometimes it come back and backfire. We can do that, after we get the 4th win, and then that's when it's time to celebrate.
Were you surprised that when Patrick got going, they didn't double team him and trap him and take the ball out of his hands and allowed him to go one-on-one and have the big fourth quarter?
Well, I think, you know, in the first half, they was doubling Pat. And what me and Oak was doing was just, it was 2-on-1. And Pat was able to hit us a lot. And I guess in the second half, they changed it up. I wasn't able to get a lot of layup dunks like I did in the first half. But what we did was, you know, the big fella got hot. And once Pat get hot, he's almost unstoppable.
Xavier McDaniel, excellent job tonight. The New York Knicks steal one. That's what Pat Riley said. We can steal the first game. Well, they did. 94-89. The Bulls with their first loss in the playoffs here in 1992. Back to wrap this game up from Chicago Stadium right after this. And the final score, New York 94, Chicago 89, and Patrick Ewing is our Budweiser player of the game with 34 points, 16 rebounds, 5 assists, 6 blocks. He came up as big as they needed him to, but it was defense holding the Bulls to only 89 points. Next, the Phoenix Suns at Portland. For Doug Collins, this is Bob Neal. So long from Chicago Stadium.